I'm the one who should be getting those impressions, right?
Yeah.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. Happy New Year. 2025 is here, and welcome to Vinny's Corner. I, of course, am Vinny, and this is my partner, Cove, Grandpa Cove over there. Hope everybody is having a wonderful evening to start. Let me just go ahead and share this on X real quick so people can check in. Let's see here. Where is my, I try to go to my own profile when I'm on the computer, and I don't know what I'm doing sometimes, which is pretty sad. But it's really what it is. Boom, 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 and boom. We are live. All right. So, as I was saying, it's 2025. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful holiday couple of weeks there. We were obviously off, conflicting schedules and the holidays, so it's what it is. We're back. Cole, yeah. What's going on, my brother?
I only worked 200 fucking hours in 3 weeks.
Not me. not me. But I have a baby at home, so it's like, I'm working 24 hours a day. Yeah. That's my mindset, It's a little bit different. So a lot of stuff going on, obviously, in the new year, guys. Obviously, baseball free agency. There are some things I know that Cove wanted to jump on and talk about at some point. Besides that, though, we are coming into Wildcard weekend. We're also down to the Final Four of the college football playoff, the first year of the 12-team format. And this year is going to be historic no matter what, because it's going to be the first year that there's going to be an African-American coach representing no matter what, because both the Notre Dame and the Penn State coaches are both African-American, right? So one or the other. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be Freeman and Notre Dame getting in there against Ohio State. That's what I have picked. So we'll see what happens. Oh, nice. Got some guys chimed in. What's going on, Chris? What's going on, D? Appreciate you guys checking in with us. So the way we kind of do things here, we have some questions that we use to kind of guide us through everything because there's a lot going on. Like I said, college football, the NFL, Wildcard weekend. Wildcard weekend's huge. Very excited about that. And then, of course, you've got the NBA, you've got the NHL. My partner here, Cove, I always point the wrong way. My partner, Cove, is Canadian, so, we got to talk about hockey. You know what I mean? Can't miss the hockey stuff. Plus, the Golden Knights have been doing killer, so, I got my shirt on. Totally jumped ship on the Islanders. Sorry, guys. It's just not working anymore. I can't deal with the heartbreak of dealing with the Islanders for another season. It's too tough.
But what about the Rangers this year, though? Like, really?
They started out hot and now they're not. Simplest way to say it, they've looked terrible recently.
They're almost as bad as the Islanders, really.
So if you remember when hockey started, we were talking about them and we were like, oh, they're probably going to be going against the Canes again in the playoffs. Now I don't even know if they're going to be in the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I mean. What happened to them? What happened to the Rangers?
It's kind of a shocker, I'll be honest. And I could be wrong because, there are injuries. I do miss things. I try and stay up on it. But I haven't seen anything that significant with the Isles that would lead me to believe that they were, not going to be – with the Rangers. I said the Isles, that they were going to fall off. They fell off a cliff recently. You know what I mean? They went from being one of the top teams in the East to being one of the worst teams in the East, and it's unfortunate. But I don't know. What are your thoughts around that? Obviously, you know a little bit more about the hockey side of things. So what's causing this?
I don't know. I just didn't expect that the Rangers would just falter this much. The last 2-3 years, they've been 45-50, 45-50 range team winning. And now you're literally a 500 team. It does not make sense.
And they started out so strong. I remember the beginning of the season talking about Shesterkin and how tough the defense was. And I don't. Hold on. Let me pull up some stats here because
they're 18-20. They're 18-20.
So they're actually below 500.
Yeah.
That's a shocker. That's like
we're 40.
Are there any Rangers fans out there watching? What's going on with your team? Chime in, guys. If you're on X, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, shoot us some comments. Chris, by the way, we will be talking a little bit about Ohio State because they have looked like the hottest team out there. And I'm also hoping the Steelers put this away this weekend. But so, yeah, guys, just like I said, if anyone is a Rangers fan, we're going to get to a whole NHL timing a little bit later in the show. Right now, by the way, guys, for anyone who is a basketball fan, the two best teams in basketball, OKC, the Thunder, and the Cavs are playing. It's 110-107, the Cavs, with 8 minutes left in the game. So my parlay is looking good. We'll see what happens there. I'm not going to share the rest of the games because it might go left. But, things are looking okay for the time being. So, real quick now, obviously, like there's not as many games as there usually are because we're now at Wildcard weekend. But I just want to kind of like run through the NFL teams, and then we can look at those NFL questions as well. So Wildcard weekend this weekend, we have the Chargers at the Texans. We've got the Ravens and the Steelers. A lot of people are saying that's probably the best game this weekend. I think that the Broncos and the Bills is going to be a really good game as well. Then we've got the Packers and the Eagles. The Packers are dealing with some injuries. The Eagles, I don't know what the situation is, but the last I heard, Jalen Hurts was still in concussion protocol. Real interesting game. The Washington Commanders, hopefully soon to be the Redskins again, and the Tampa Bay Bucks. And then last but not least, the Vikings and maybe the hottest team in the NFC right now in the LA Rams. So just real quick, I'll give you my picks. Now, my picks are not – don't go bet with these because this is what I want to see happen, not necessarily what will happen. But I think the Bills are going to win. However, I would like to see the Broncos win. And I think that there's two different versions of Bo Nix, right? There's one who throws 6 picks in 2 games or 3 games. And then there's one who's, dialed in 10 touchdowns in 2 games over, a 6-game span, 7-game span. So I would love to see that guy show up. I would love to see that team, Sean Payton and the guys take down in the first round the Buffalo Bills and the likely MVP in Josh Allen. Big one. And this is like a proving game. I think that this is one of the most important games for like a guy's legacy in the sport right now. Lamar Jackson, as many are saying, will walk into the Hall of Fame already 5 years after exactly he retires, right? The earliest you could do it because he's already got two MVPs, one of them unanimous. This is probably his best season, but Josh Allen might be putting on a better show, so we'll see if he gets his third. But he's only got 2 wins in his last 10 games against the Steelers, okay? Now, he did beat them in the last game. And I'm sure that's probably one of your questions on there, Cove. You got a question on there about the Ravens and the Steelers?
Yeah.
Well, so what's the thought around that?
Well, I would start if we're going to do questions. I'll go for the top one first because that will eventually get in because there's only like 5 questions.
So let's just jump into it then.
So, which team is favored in the LA Chargers versus Texans game, and what are the key factors considered with a 3-point spread?
Okay, so just real quick, since we are touching on the LA Rams, I wanted to just give a shout out and, prayers to everybody in California that's dealing with these wildfires. So as of now, they're saying that this game may get moved from SoFi Stadium in LA to Glendale, Arizona. So this will become a neutral site game. That means that LA will lose some of their edge right off rip. To me, it should be obvious the Vikings should be the favorite team. I'm not sure if they are. Who's the 3-point favorite at this point?
I'm thinking it is. I think it is the Chargers.
Let's see. No. The Rams.
No, it's the Chargers versus Texans.
Oh, you're talking I'm talking Rams and Vikings. You're talking Okay.
Yeah,
so
that's the
all right,
last
that's
one.
my bad. My bad. Hold on. So that's my fault, guys. So same thing though. I don't know. This is actually interesting. Los Angeles Chargers. Where are the Los Angeles Chargers going to be playing this weekend?
They're in Texas. They're in Texas.
Oh, okay. So the game is in Texas. Yeah, that's right. The Texans did win their division, even though they have not looked great. They did win their division for a second season again, which is kind of,
So Texans have the 3-point favorite. Texans got the 3-point favorite.
Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to go out here and say it. I think that Herbert is going to be in the conversation next season for MVP. And I believe in Harbaugh, I'm not sure that I agree with the Texans being favored, especially with how average at best their offensive line has protected this guy all season, Stroud. So they're a 3-point favorite. To me, I go Chargers in this game. I think the Chargers beat them outright with a 3-point spread. If you're betting, I think that I would definitely take the Chargers on that.
Oh, yeah. I have Chargers winning by 3 with Dicker winning, Cameron Dicker winning it for them because, like you said the same thing. The Texans were up here at the beginning of the season. Chargers were down here. And then just slowly got themselves up there. Like, I'm all in for the Texans next year because they'll be better. But for some reason, they just fell apart. They were like the Minnesota Vikings. They got good, and then they fell off.
I don't know that I think the Vikings fell off.
No. I'm not this year. I'm talking about previous years.
Seasons past. Okay.
Yeah, past, where the Vikings got hot, and then they just fell off.
Oh, yeah, cooked cousins, right?
Yeah.
That's what I call them. So, I don't know. For me, I just think that Harbaugh's defense is going to be too tough. I'm going to go, like I said, I'm going Los Angeles Chargers. I think that they're going to have a dynamite game. And I think that here's the thing. Their offense is not always like electrifying, but I think they'll do enough to get past the Texans. I think the Texans are one and done this season. We'll see what happens. So now the next one, I think this is what we were talking a little bit about before, right? The Pittsburgh Steelers covering the spread against the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by 9.5 points. That's a pretty big number.
Yeah.
I don't know where that confidence comes from. I mean, Lamar does not play great in the playoffs historically. Actually, so here's a number. Lamar's regular season passer rating is around 103, 104, something to that effect. I'm not going to look exactly, but it's right around there. He falls all the way to like a 75 passer rating in the playoffs. So a 9.5 point favorite. The Steelers are a little banged up, but they do have Mike Tomlin and they do have Russell Wilson. And they have some things that they have together for Justin Fields. I expect to see Justin Fields have a few packages in this game. I think the Steelers are going to win outright. But so if they're going to win outright, of course, I think they'll cover that spread. But like I was saying before, this is kind of a legacy game. Like Lamar needs to win this. Lamar needs to win a Super Bowl. That's really all that's left for him, right? He's already elevated himself to the point that like the only thing he can do now to like wow anybody is win a Super Bowl. He's already like one of the most ridiculous quarterbacks we've probably ever seen play. So, that's where I stand. I don't know. Do you think that the Steelers can cover that spread? Or do you think the Ravens can cover that spread? Or do you think the Steelers are going to blow it up?
Unfortunately, I'm going to say Ravens. I think the Ravens got the Steelers number. It's going to be a close number. If they don't cover the 9.5, this is going to be a field goal game. This is.
I can agree to that. I think
they
think
play
so too.
Each other so tight. It's unreal. Great football. That's why you said, arguably, this is one of the best ones on this weekend. It's Steelers.
Here's what I will say. The over-under on that game is 43.5. I would take the over. I think that Lamar, So if the Steelers can win, the Steelers are going to have to score more than 30 points. And they can against that defense because, let's face it, that defense really isn't very good. That's the glaring bad spot on that team.
Now, if you look at the season, Pittsburgh beat them 18-16, but then lost to them 34-17.
And so this is right. So if Lamar wins this game, and right, I'm not even saying the Ravens. If Lamar wins this game, because he's the one who's got to win it, right? If he wins this game, it'll be the over. If the Steelers can make it Steelers football, then it might be the under. I would still take the over on this one. I think that the only way that the Steelers are going to win this game is if Russell Wilson and these guys can put together a 30-point game, because I think that it's just going to be like Lamar's going to score. He's ready. He's on fire. He's playing good football right now. So I'm pretty confident in what he's going to bring to the table. But I don't know. I guess we're going to see what happens, right?
Now, the interesting one is, will the Denver Broncos will be able to overcome the 8.5 spread against the Bills, who have a strong offense, which is crazy. So the Ravens get a 9.5 over the Steelers, but the Bills only get an 8.5 over the Broncos.
Well, okay. So here's the thing, right? When they're looking at that, I think it's because, right? So the Steelers and the Ravens split one game this season. And what you just said, right? It went, one game was one direction, one game was totally different. So to have more than a 9.5-point spread would be crazy. 9.5 is still kind of big, I think, in that case. I think that the Broncos have a really good defense. Okay. And so I don't know. I mean, this is what it's going to come down to me, is which Bo Nix shows up. I think that's the biggest thing, right? But
yeah, they're number 7 in defense. That's what we're looking at as Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah. The last time they met, the Broncos beat the Bills 24-22 in 2023 in November.
They didn't have Bo Nix, and this is the big thing. If Bo Nix shows up and throws 2 or 3 picks, it's over.
He's in Buffalo too.
And so here's a fact about Josh Allen. Josh Allen's quarterback rating goes up in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Historically, he's even better in the playoffs, except for when he's playing Pat Mahomes. But that's kind of that's just a lot of people's thing, right? So covering the spread, I feel like this.
I'm more likely saying Buffalo covers the spread than
covers
the spread.
Yeah, no, listen. I think that the offense that they have right now, I mean, Josh Allen is the MVP right now. He's not going to be unanimous because Lamar's got 40 touchdowns and 5 interceptions this season. Ridiculous numbers. So he's not going to be unanimous, but he's put on like an absolute high. He's got a receiving, passing, right, and rushing touchdowns all this season himself. Right. Yeah. Which is bananas. The guy's just had he's had an amazing season. I have no reason to think that they're going to lose. I would love to see the Broncos do it, but this could be the Bills' time. Like finally the Bills' time. You know what I mean? They're the team I think that can beat let me rephrase this. I think Pat Mahomes is going to a 3-peat this year. So let me just put that in the air. Okay, let me throw that in the ether real quick so everybody hears it out loud. That's what I think is going to happen. But if somebody is going to knock him off, it's this Josh Allen. I mean, he's just he's playing out of his mind football. There's no other way to say it. So,
I'll give Lamar praise. First player with 40+ touchdowns with fewer than 5 interceptions in a season. First player with 40+ touchdowns and 600 yards in a season. And first player to have 4,000 pass yards and 800 yards in a season. 3-0 record, 10 passes, 1 touchdown, 0 interception, head-to-head versus Josh Allen and Joe Burrow.
Listen, it's so, and this is kind of what's fucked up, I guess I would say, right? Is that probably the biggest challenge he faces is the wild card round. Like, legitimately, to me, that's probably the biggest challenge that he's facing right now. The Steelers, he just historically does not do well against them. So, we'll see if he gets through the wild card round, and most people expect that he will. I guess we'll see what happens from there. All right, so now we got some NFC football.
So, how will the Green Bay Packers perform as underdogs against the Philadelphia Eagles, who are favored by 4.5 points?
Okay, so assuming Jalen is there, and I'm gonna go out on a limb and say, even if Jalen does not start, I think that Saquon is going to run for over 250 yards against them. And I think that they're going to get washed. I do not think the Green Bay Packers make it out of this round. I think they're one and done. They've got injuries. But if Jalen is involved, if Jalen Hurts is out there, they're missing half of their stud cornerback, right? Jair Alexander is out for the season.
Yeah.
They're going to attack that side. They have 2 wide receiver ones on that team.
Yeah.
They're just going to attack. I do not see the Eagles having any trouble this weekend. Whether it's on the ground or through the air, I think the Eagles are just – and I'm a Giants fan. To the Eagles, that's how I feel about them. But the reality is I just do not think that Green Bay – I do not think that they are going to get – I do not think it's going to be a 4 or 3-point game. I think that the Green Bay is going to lose by 10 to 14 points.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'd say 7.
Still, Philly still covers.
Yeah, it covers, but not covers like a 14. But I know. And the other one I have is to go back into that one is who has the edge in the Monday Night Football, seeing how it could be moved between the Vikings and the Rams, with the Rams being slight underdogs only at 1.5 points.
I mean, from a betting standpoint, I would take the Rams all day. This is the thing, right? Last weekend, Sam Darnold looked like old school Sam Darnold. He looked terrible, right?
But he was playing the goddamn Lions. Come on.
But their defense is decimated.
Yeah, I know. But the Lions are still 15-1. You got to give them credit where they're
15-2.
Okay, 15-2. Still 15-2. When's the last time you've ever seen a Lions team at 15-2?
Well, this is the first time the Lions have ever been the 1 seed. Period.
Yeah, but when have you ever seen them 15-2? Ever.
Ever. So this is definitely the best Lions team there's ever been. Listen, I'm actually I need something to get behind for the playoffs, right? Because I'm a Giants fan. I'm a fan of one of the top 5 worst franchises in the sport currently. That being said, as I was telling a bunch of the other guys that I deal with, Sam Darnold is who I want to get behind for this playoffs. I want to see him do well. And if the Sam Darnold that was there for week 1 through 16, 1 through 17, arguably was there or shows up, I think they can beat them, no question. But the Rams have been playing really good football. They do have Stafford. They have weapons on that team, and they have McVay. So they have a lot of things going in their favor right now. The second half of the season, they're a winning team all the way. They've got proven pieces. They've got Super Bowl champion quarterback, Super Bowl champion coach. I definitely think that they're dangerous in that capacity. But, I'm behind Sam Darnold all the way. That's who I want. I want to see Sam Darnold win the whole thing. It would be the best story ever.
Oh, yes.
I
mean, that will say a lot about JJ being traded next year if Sam Darnold wins it all.
It would, dude. The Giants might get him. It would actually be good for there's a lot of situations for a lot of people that it could be good if Sam Darnold wins it all or goes to like the NFC Championship and they decide to keep him.
Yes.
You know that Danny Jones is active now, right? He's no longer practice squad. Daniel Jones is active for the playoffs. Let's go. Oh my God. I don't know what's going to happen there, but that's pretty amazing. I do not want to see the Eagles win, right? But I'm happy for Saquon being in the position he is this season. I'm also happy to see that Daniel Jones landed on his feet. He's active on one of the best teams going into the playoffs and has a real shot now, so like good for them because Daboll and Joe Shane, like they are not it. And unfortunately, we have them for another season. So, we'll see what happens with that.
Where's Jones playing?
Daniel Jones, he is the number 2 quarterback now at Minnesota. He's backing up Sam Darnold. Let's go.
Oh, God.
This could be epic. Now, imagine Sam Darnold played horrible and they put Daniel Jones in and Daniel Jones won the game.
Oh, Jesus. Really?
Oh, that would be it.
Maybe he just won it in New York.
That would be it. That would be the tits. That would be great. I would love that.
Oh, could you imagine Darnold goes down and Daniel Jones wins the Super Bowl?
Bro, I would like it. I would be ecstatic for the kid. At least, and he's not in, and they're not in my division, so I don't feel uncomfortable cheering him on. You're a fraud if you cheer for a team in your division. Yeah. So, never. I won't do that. But it would be cool to see that happen. Unfortunately, I would like to see Saquon be one and done. I don't think he is. I think that, I think Green Bay's cooked.
Now, just before I talk about this last game, because I noticed, I don't know if you noticed, didn't talk about the Commanders or Buccaneers.
That's the best game.
But anyway, what was your thoughts? Like, as a fan, how'd you feel about Saquon not going after the record?
So I actually tweeted Saquon directly about this because I wanted to congratulate him as a Giants fan, tell him how awesome he is. I have no hard feelings towards him. I think that Joe Shane completely shit on him. The arrogance that they showed on that Netflix show this offseason was gross. Saquon is just being Saquon, okay? He is the ultimate team player. He is the ultimate leader. I would have loved to have seen him go for it because that's not just a him record like that. So the yards that hold on, I got to look up the number, but the yards that he has before contact, like the blocking schemes, the offensive line, the offensive line wanted to go for it.
Yeah.
Saquon said he wanted to go for it, but management and Sirianni felt otherwise. So, it sucks. I would have loved to have seen Saquon break that record this season. I would have been extremely happy for him. And I still am. He's etched his name as one of the greatest seasons, in rushing history. So, more power to him. I love that. No question about it. What are your thoughts?
I know. I came home. I was like, today I'm just not watching football, but I was like, I'm going to watch Saquon do this. And they're like, oh, seriously? I understand it, but I was like, oh, man. I just felt like it was like, because Dickerson was talking about it. He goes, I really don't want this record broken. And all of a sudden, Saquon's like, yep, not doing it. It's like, we talk about script writers all the time. They didn't want this record broken. And then all of a sudden, it doesn't get broken. It's just like they made this happen.
First of all, Eric Dickerson was kind of a jerk the way he came out about that. Like, it is what it is. But, I do think it sucks because it's the kind of record, right? That record has stood for something like 40 years. Like, Saquon could have broke that record, and it could have never got broke again.
Yeah.
Peterson
got close, but then he was real close. Peterson was only like 7 yards away from the record.
I think he had 2,095 yards that season or 97 yards. And
it was like record. He was only 7 yards away. He just couldn't get
something ridiculous like that.
But I'm just hoping what happened with Peterson doesn't happen with Saquon. Peterson hit that mark and then just
Well, here's the thing, right? Saquon's had injuries in the past, and I think that that's a part of why they opted to go against it, because he's gone through the injuries already. So, to see him at this level after the way he hurt his knee, it's awesome. Like I love it. All right, so let's jump into. I know we got a game coming on tomorrow. Let's jump into the college football side of things. Commanders and the Bucks. Yeah. Commanders and the Bucks. So, what do you think? Commanders and the Bucks. Tampa Bay is a favorite by 3 points. Over under is 50.5.
I really want Washington to win this game for Daniels. But what we see the last few years out of, Baker in the playoffs, he blows up.
I think Baker's going to take it home, no question.
This is going to be a tight game, real tight.
I think it'll be a good game, no question about that. I think that Jaden Daniels he's been like a tremendous leader on that team. They've shown up week in and week out. They've looked great.
The number 3 offense versus the number 7 offense. The number 3 rushing versus the number 4 rushing. This is a real tight game.
It is. And I think it's going to be a good one. There's no way. Baker Mayfield's probably my favorite quarterback in the NFL. And the Bucks, I'm cool with the Bucks organization. I think that they're going to win it. I think that they'll cover. And I just think, I think everything goes their way this weekend.
Yeah, like I said, I want Washington. Washington needs this win. They need to get into the playoffs. This will change everything for them.
I love Jaden Daniels, okay? I think he's great. But I'm never going to root for the fucking Redskins in my life. I don't care. They're an NFC East team. Yeah. Cowboys, Eagles, Commanders, blacklisted. Never. So I'm cheering for the Bucks. Let's go.
So as you're saying, NCAA, we have in the Cotton Bowl, we have the number 8 Ohio State versus number 5 Texas. Which team has the advantage based on their regular season performance and key playoff player matchups?
To me, this is no question. If you watch Texas, okay, so Texas did not play good football against Georgia. It was a close game. They lost. Texas against Clemson was not a great game. Texas against Arizona State. They let Arizona State hang in there till double overtime. Ohio State is just running teams over. Ohio State has by far looked like the best team in the playoff. They definitely do not. They look like the 1 seed, not the 8 seed. They proved that when they went into the 1 seed and smoked them. Right? They completely wiped the floor with the Oregon Ducks, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't even competitive. It was 34-0 in the beginning of the game. Like, Howard's playing awesome at quarterback. They've probably got top 5 rookie receiver all time in Jeremiah Smith, right? Just to me, it's Ohio State's game to lose. I'm rooting for Texas, but I think Ohio State's going to roll them. I don't even think it's going to be competitive. I think that Ohio State will take the lead on like the first or second drive, and they'll never look back.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts?
I want Texas, but I only want Texas because Manning's there. Ewers is gone. Ewers is going to the draft. If they don't win this, Quinn Ewers' draft will drop a little bit. So I think that's what it is. I think it's Quinn Ewers is trying to make his draft stock a little higher, and it's not going to matter. I think Quinn Ewers is going to be drafted regardless. But I mean, Quinn Ewers could go to Tennessee. This is Manning's teams next year. Like, this is what it is. If Ohio State put a ton of money in this team, and they're showing that they can compete. I mean, if this was like Oregon versus Texas, I probably would pick Texas, but since they destroyed Oregon, I don't know. I feel like Ohio State might have an edge.
Ohio State is going like this might be a blowout.
Yeah.
It might be a blowout. I'm going to be honest.
The only reason why I want Texas to do it is for Manning, but also because of the next one we're going to talk about. I'm a Notre Dame since I was a child, and if you put Ohio State versus Notre Dame, that's going to be a blowout, and I don't want to see that for that game.
I'm going to be honest. I have and I don't know why. I'm not a Notre Dame fan. I don't dislike them. I do dislike Big Ten teams. So I'm rooting against Ohio State and Penn State. But I think that Notre Dame is going to win. I think it's going to be Ohio State against Notre Dame. I think that Ryan Day is a great coach. And he needs to win for Ohio State because if he doesn't, he may lose his job, which is crazy because he's got one of the winningest records. He's 70-10 or something in the last few years. He's ridiculous. But he loses to Michigan consistently, and that doesn't go over well in Ohio. But I think I believe in Notre Dame. I believe in that team.
So
I think that they can make it a game.
Is how does the historic rivalries and past bowl games performances of Notre Dame and Penn State in this Orange Bowl impact this matchup?
I don't think it matters. I don't think Penn State, they've got some history, but they have not historically, or not historic. They have not in the last 2 years played good against top teams.
Yeah.
They haven't. Boise State's not really a top team, unfortunately.
No.
That's just the reality of it. Ginty's he's a top running back, but that team, they're not built the same over there. It's just different. Big Ten football's way different. Notre Dame really has some pieces. This kid Riley, I like him a lot. Big fan. I think he's awesome. They got Love. I like that kid a lot too. And I like Freeman. I think Freeman's an excellent coach, and I think Freeman can out-coach Day. I think he can. I think that it's not just going to be a black coach going to the championship. It's going to be an African-American, a black, whatever, say it either way, right? But winning the national title this season. I'm going Notre Dame all the way.
So that has... So you have Notre Dame versus Ohio State. I have Notre Dame versus Ohio State. You have Notre Dame versus Ohio State. Really?
I would.
You run.
To be honest, if it was Ohio State against Penn State, I wouldn't even watch it.
Okay.
I would have no interest in that game. That would but these games right now that we're getting, Texas versus Ohio State, Notre Dame versus Penn State, I think this is an awesome weekend. So Thursday, Friday night, right? We got these games, which is going to be mint, and then the national titles next week. So they get a little bit of time off. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Ohio State, Notre Dame, and I'm taking Notre Dame to win it all.
Love to hear that because Notre Dame has not won it since 1988. So I'd love to see.
It's been a long time. Now I want to say this also. In that, here's the other thing though that I am okay. This is where it gets interesting. There is a possibility that if Ohio State was to win it all, that their quarterback Howard ends up declaring, yes, we are talking college football out of rhythm. But there is a good chance that their quarterback Howard ends up declaring for the draft. And that would be very interesting. He's looked stellar in recent weeks. I don't know where he would end up. I'm not sure where he would go, but he could very quickly turn into the number 1 or 2 quarterback on the board if, he goes out there and wins these next 2 games and then declares for the draft. So, it'll be interesting to see. Oh, I'll jump on. I forgot to tell you. Now that I have it up on my computer, I'll jump into that Discord after the show.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now we just move over to NBA. Now, these are going to be the interesting questions for you to really think. I wish this person would stop messaging me because my phone keeps fucking vibrating.
Dude, I was like, what is that? I thought that was my computer for a second.
No, it's mine.
I was like, what is that?
Okay. So, how has Shy, I can't think of
just say Shy. It's cool.
Yeah. How has Shy performance contribute to the Thunder's impressive 30-5 record? And what does Anthony Edwards' praise mean for these MVP chances?
Okay, so I'm going to answer that question. I see what you're saying, out of rhythm, but the way that he's played in recent weeks, he's just been raising his stock. So he could easily, and here's the thing, Shedeur and Cam Ward really aren't a 1 and 2 draft pick. They would only go 1 and 2 because they're needed. If you look at any college football analyst out there, they're going to tell you really they have Shedeur at like 14 or even second round on their board. They're not that good. So it's really not that crazy to think that Howard goes that high because everybody needs a quarterback. So depending on how his next 2 performances go, we'll see. Shedeur is your new Caleb Williams. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised. Caleb Williams is a joke too. No comment on that. All right, so back to the NBA side of things. We are jumping over to the NBA. I think that Shy's performance all season has been kind of ridiculous. I've been having fun watching him play basketball. To be perfectly honest, and I'm a hater. Quite frankly, that's probably the easiest way to say it. I'm a hater. But he's done, I'm pulling up his stats right now because I think it's interesting just to see. He is averaging 31.3 points a game, 6.1 assists, 2 steals, and 1.1 blocks. He's having a tremendous season. I think that he's definitely up there right now for MVP. No question about that. I do not think that it makes any difference what Anthony Edwards says about it. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think that the people, the powers that be, don't give a crap about what Ed Edwards says. If anything,
it's like, who cares what Ant says? Who cares what Ant says?
He's a cool dude. I like Ant Edwards, but I don't think anyone, the people that are going to vote, I don't think that makes any difference for them.
Yeah. So, it is what it is, right? So, what factors have led to the Cleveland Cavaliers' dominant 31-4 record, including their recent 8-win streak and Evan Mobley improvement in his 3-point shooting?
So I'm just going to point out real quick, they are now 32-4. Yeah. They actually put away Shy and OKC a couple of minutes ago. They won 129-122. Impressive. So here's what I think Mobley, honestly, I think that he's been huge for that team. Here's what's kind of interesting. That whole front squad, I'm actually just trying to pull everybody up right now, but Garland, Mitchell, Mobley, they have some really good pieces on that team. Here's what's been like, here's why I think that team is doing so well. They do everything well, right? So when you watch them, it's like watching really good fundamental basketball. You have big guys that can shoot from outside. You have everybody knows how to play inside and outside, right? Their passing is elite. They know how to move the ball around, and because of the movement, they do good. You know what I mean? Simple enough. They just knocked off OKC by 7 points. Their last 10 games, I believe it is, they won by 10 points or more, or maybe it was like their last 14 games, but they set an NBA record for consecutive wins with double-digit numbers. So I mean, that team they're the best team in basketball right now. Hopefully, my Knicks bump them off in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. I don't know that that's likely, but I would love to see it. As a team, though, they're doing great. And okay, so here's what's really interesting, right? Donnie Mitchell is the points leader per game, and and this kind of speaks to how they move the ball around and how everyone on that team is scoring. Donnie Mitchell's only averaging 23.3 points a game. Okay, so the best or the highest scorer on the team is only averaging 23 points. That means that everybody on that team is pitching in and scoring consistently. You can't really beat that.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know.
Since I'm out here, I'll let you take number 3.
All right. So, how did Jason Tatum's standout performance help the Boston Celtics secure a crucial win against the Wolves? And what implications does their 27-0 record have on their 27-10 record have on their playoff seeding? I mean, I think they're the number 2 team right now in the East.
Yeah.
I don't know that that's going to change the way that Cleveland's playing basketball. I don't think that's going to change. But Tatum is the driving force on that team, right? As he goes through the team. So whenever he has a dominant performance, you can usually expect that team's going to win, right? And that's what's great. They have a lot of other parts on that team. Obviously they have Brown, they have Porzingis, they have White, they have Holiday. It's not like it's not a good team all around. And 27-10 is an awesome record. It just happens to be that Cleveland's playing out of their minds.
Yeah.
So I think that they'll finish in that 2 seed. It's definitely possible down the stretch that things happen. Injuries happen. People fatigue. It could change, but I wouldn't see them falling lower than the 2 seed. It could be the 1 or the 2 seed all season long.
Yeah. So, camera fail. So, I mean, Boston's going to be Boston. They're going to be like that they're the defending champs, last season champs. On top of that, in the tournament, I think a tournament because I don't count it as a championship. But so this is Boston. You expected them to be a top 2 team. If they weren't, you would be like, was it a fluke that they won the championship? If they weren't a top 2 team?
Well, if they weren't a top 2 team, that would probably mean that my Knicks were in the top 2. So I would just be like, means my Knicks stepped up. That's all. That's probably how I'd look at it. But
we are moving to the Knicks, though. What milestones have the New York Knicks achieved during their 9-game win streak, and how has their defense rating and offense firepower made them a formidable team in the league?
Okay, so here's what I think, right? The Knicks are winning right now. They're about to put away Toronto. They should, obviously. Toronto's only got 8 wins on the season, so they're going to move to 25-13. The Knicks are playing good ball. They're not perfect. They're far from it this season. They do have – okay, so 2 nights ago, we played against Orlando. Orlando is decimated with injuries, and we lost the game because – and I'll be the first to say it because Cat was out. I think that this team is reliant, right, on their stars. So we have a good we have a good first, starting 5. I love the guys. I love Hart. I think Bridges has been awesome this season. But for the Knicks, and you were able to see it during that win streak. For the Knicks to continue at the pace that they kind of went through. So from December to now, they've lost like 3 or 4 games in like 18. They're doing well. They're doing really well. For them to continue that, they need Brunson and Cat healthy. They need their 2 biggest stars healthy, right? So the team is not good enough yet where when one of those guys is out, it becomes very difficult. And so that still scares me. that is that's what I learned the most recently, right? When Jalen's not there, when Cat's not there, we lose to teams we shouldn't lose to, right? And so they need both of those guys healthy. I'm okay with a 3 or a 4 seed, but they need both of those guys healthy going into the playoffs to make a stand, because what happened last year against the Indiana Pacers, that won't be okay this year. Mm-hmm. This team, we know what we got. This team is that good. And, I expect big things from them. In a 7-game, let me say it like this before we go over. In a 7-game series, right? In a one-off, yes, the Celtics can beat them. The Cavs can beat them. In a 7-game series, I think that they have it, if they're all healthy, to grind out anybody. Just one man's opinion. Let's go next.
I mean, I'm not a big fan of the Knicks. I've never really been. I always like to troll them every
I know you hater.
Hey, wait till you look at the Discord and look at the article I put about the Knicks, and you might say I'm not so much a hater. I did give them love.
Discord. All right, so what's our next team?
So how have Jaren Jackson Jr.'s recent scoring outbursts and Desmond Bane's hot streak contribute to Memphis's Grizzlies' success, especially in games where key players like Ja Morant was not available?
I mean, I think the easiest way to say it's huge, right? And so I'm going to use my Knicks for a second, right? When you don't have your star player in, but you have other pieces, that can step up and get those wins, it speaks to the grit on your team, So, both Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bane, they've both been playing good basketball, and they definitely pick up some of that slack when Ja Morant's not in. And Ja can't do everything himself. So I think they've been huge for that team, really. I like to look at the stats. So the points leader on the team is Jaren Jackson, right? The assist leader on the team is Desmond Bane. So, you can't say enough for what these guys do in the absence of a Ja Morant, and even when he is there, right? So they pick up a huge amount of slack. Having a shooting guard and a power forward like those two guys that can be there for Ja Morant, it makes all the difference in the world. It makes that team as competitive as they are. Period.
Mm-hmm.
They're 20.
I love Memphis because I've always loved Memphis because they were originally the Vancouver Grizzlies. And when I was younger, when I was a teenager, you were a teenager. But for me, it was Toronto and Vancouver were brand new, 95. It was great. So, to see the Grizzlies finally having a team that's decent is nice to see.
Yeah, I see why you're saying that.
Just with the Vancouver connection with Big Country way back when.
That's a fact.
There's an old school name for you, for all those fans out there. If you're a fan of Memphis, you know who Big Country is.
That's a fact. Yo, I don't know what's going on. This is okay, so I'm trying to log into Discord because it's just not showing me any love. Oh, here we go. Okay, I'm in. All right, now I got to find. All right, let me go. Can you do me a favor and just shoot me the Discord in a DM real quick, and I'll add that. I'll jump into that conversation also. Appreciate that. So, guys, we do have another. We do have another, basically a place that we are besides X all the time, a Discord that you can find us and kind of see what's going on. There's going to be a lot more talk around baseball too, right? As we're heading into the baseball season coming in the next couple of months. So if you want to see what we have our thoughts around baseball, around the Yankees bullpen, say things of that nature, then definitely, hit me up, shoot me a DM on X, and I will definitely get you connected with our Discord so you can hop in there, because it's always good to have more people involved. No question about it. Did you send it?
Just give me 1 second. I just got to get into the.
You got to find it too, huh? All right. While you're doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up these NHL questions we got here because it's getting a little late, and we got to talk NHL.
Yeah. Just sent it.
Perfect. All right. So NHL, I'm going to jump on this first one. How likely do you think it is that Ovechkin will break Wayne Gretzky's record in the near future? I mean, how close are we now? What are the numbers like?
I will give you 2 seconds here. Just give me a second.
I think we're really close, right?
No, we're not like really close. That's another couple weeks away because he broke his leg, so that's what really slowed.
But there's a good chance we see it this season.
If he gets hot again, yes. If he gets hot again. So right now, let's look at the official stats right now. He has 19 goals right now. So he's 872.
Okay, and what is the number for
894?
Okay, so
22.
Ooh, okay. Hold on. I might have to take that statement back. He's got to get real hot. So
yeah,
the NHL is about midway season right now. I don't know. He needs 22 to tie it, 23 to break it.
Yeah.
That's tough. That's real tough. I don't know. He's going to have a mean hot streak.
In 24 games this year, he's got 19 goals.
Well, and so that's the thing, right? If he can get back to like that opening form, certainly. But, coming off of a broken leg, he's like my age. For those that don't know, that means he's in his 40s. It might be tough to get back to that form. Now, that's just regular season, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, because, there's a good chance that they make the playoffs, but that's tough. I don't know. I mean, it's possible. It's really going to depend on him getting hot, right? Like 19 goals in 24 games is ridiculous. If he can get back to almost scoring a goal every game, but I think where are we in the season? How many? Okay.
40.
We're at 40. Yeah, so we're midway through the season. So it's definitely not impossible, right? But I don't know, man. I don't know. That's tough. His team is going to have to really work with him to make that happen.
I think they can. I think the Capitals this year really could make that happen for him. I think they really could.
I mean, they should.
Yeah. You don't want to be like 1 goal away where he has to come back for next season just to get 1 goal.
He's like, the guy's really put his soul into that team, if there's anything you should try and make happen, that's it. That's definitely the record right there.
Okay. Now, you'll love this one. With the recent hot streak, do you see the Golden Knights as legitimate Stanley Cup contenders?
Anyone who says that the Golden Knights are not a legitimate contender is out of their mind. They're playing amazing hockey, period. Okay, every game hasn't been perfect, right? But okay, let's dial it back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. In their last 14 games, in the last 15 games, they only have 3 losses. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like the team is playing lights out, really, really good hockey. I'll be honest, I'm so confident in them at this point that sometimes I'll be going to place a bet, like a straight bet on another team. And I'm like, you know what? The Golden Knights are playing. I'm just going to make it a parlay and I'm going to take their money line because they're going to win. That's the way that I'm feeling about them this season. I think they've just been playing monster hockey all year. And it's not coming from one guy. The whole team is really pitching in. They've looked great. Eichel's got 53 points on the season already, which is mint. Nothing to be said. And that's 42 assists. Okay. Then they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They have 6 guys with double-digit goal scoring. I mean, there's nothing to be taken away from this team this season. And really, goalie-wise, okay, Aiden Hill is 17-6, right? Letting up less than 3 goals a game. You know, over a 900 save percentage. Samsonov is 11-3, under a 2.7. So they're 2.58 and 2.65 collectively, and he's got an even higher save percentage. He's at 900, so 907. I mean, dude, this team is, you know, they've got their goalie tandem figured out. They're playing amazing. I have no reason to think that the Vegas Golden Knights cannot win the Stanley Cup this season.
Now, just this little tidbit of information. So in November 28th in 1997, December 2nd in 1997, and then December 28th of 1997. That 1 month, he scored only 3 goals, like the last 3 goals. The 894th goal was scored within that whole month. So Gretzky slowed down to get
in his last couple of seasons. He had it was 9 goals. They were the numbers were really low.
Yeah. So we know he's going to get slow when he gets near this record because Gretzky did it. But Ovechkin, speaking of it though, the 29th, the 2nd, and the 4th, he scored 3 goals in 5 games, 5 days. So that's scoring that was his last 3 games that he scored a goal each. So if he's got 40 games left, 42, he's got 42 games left. He scores a goal every game.
If he scored a goal every
if he scores a goal every game, he'll get it. But that means only really 17 games eventually doesn't really got to score in the game. So if he has a multi-point game, then he will stay on pace for this.
If he scores 28 more goals this season, he'll set the record at 900.
Yeah.
That would be off the hook.
Did you see it? 900 goals? Jesus.
That's it. That's what I want to see. That would be great. That would really be awesome.
So what are your expectations for the Wild in the playoffs this year with the way they're playing right now?
For the Wild?
Minnesota Wild.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm trying to think about that now.
Yeah, it's what?
For the Minnesota Wild, okay, so they're 26-11.
Yeah.
Right? This is an interesting one. This is an interesting one you brought here. They're kind of I want to say they're a dark horse. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Kaprizov's got 23 goals on the season. He's playing good. He's also got 27 assists. So he's pretty even about it. In goal, honestly, so this is really, I think, where it comes, right? Gustafsson, as their starter, he's got a 922 save percentage. He's playing goals against average 2.31. He's playing ridiculous hockey. And then, his backup is Fleury.
Yeah. His backup. He's Gustafsson has Flower.
So this is an interesting one. I feel like a lot of people forget about them. There's a lot of talk about the Avs, the LA Kings and the Golden Knights, at least on the Western side of things. This team could really, and then you also got the Jets. But this team could really if they keep up the way that they're playing, there's no team in hockey that they can't beat in a series. Mm-hmm. So it'll be interesting to see once they get to that point and the seeding happens and we can see who they're going against, right? Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see.
Now, the only one that has to do with the Jets was, what areas do you think the team needs to improve to maintain their success leading the Western Conference? Being at 28.
So the Jets,
they're 28-12. They're only 2 games above Minnesota.
They're 20. Well, so here's the thing, right? About a team that's 28-12. Here, I guess. Okay, so let me just look at it real quick, right? So you got the Jets at 28-12. But the Golden Knights are 28-9. Golden Knights will beat them in a series, period. End of discussion. I'm just going to say that first. But for the Winnipeg Jets to hold off the Wild, and I think that's really what it comes down to. They're trying to hold off the Wild. Kyle Connor's a stud. They have to. Here's what I think, and this is kind of an interesting way to look at it. But they have to control penalties, penalty minutes. The penalty kill, right? And they've got to make sure they're scoring when they get power plays. That's I think where the biggest thing is, because Hellebuck's playing ridiculous. Hellebuck's his goals against average is 2.09. Like, he's basically letting up 2 goals a game. That's it. Right? His save percentage is over 0.925. Like, that's pretty serious.
Right now, they have 152 goals for, 106 goals against, and the Golden Knights are 143 goals and 107 goals against. So they're pretty much just like teetering on each other right now.
I feel like in a series, I think that when they get to that point where, like, say they're playing for the Western Conference, the Golden Knights and the Jets, I think that the aggressiveness and the scoring prowess of the Golden Knights can overwhelm them. I think they can break down Hellebuck. That's what I think.
So
here's the thing. Now, right, when I say that, and this is the reason why I say that, the Golden Knights have 2 really good goalies. The Jets do not.
Mm-hmm.
Comrie's garbage. No other way to say that. I don't want to hear any more about it. That guy loses games a lot. He loses more than he wins.
We'll talk about for the night. It'll be first. We're going to go to Toronto. How do you think the Leafs' performance of 5v5 will impact their playoffs?
Okay, so, all right. I'm going to let you start this question. What do you think?
Well, from what I've been reading about it, is they were struggling on 5v5. They didn't score a lot of power play goals per se, and they were scoring more power play goals than offensive 5-on-5. And you know yourself, in NHL, you can win a lot of games on the power play. You can have a hell of a power play. But if you're not winning those 5v5 matchups, you're not going to win games.
Well, yeah, because you're only going to get so many power play opportunities in a series, Yeah. And so I can totally agree with that. So this is a tough one. Here's what I think.
Do you think it improves them because they're doing better on 5v5? That gives them a better chance?
They need, so they're a top team in the league, right? No question about it.
Top 5, yeah.
Right? And I'm kind of interested to see what the stats are on this. I'm trying to see if I can see Tavares' stats on faceoffs. I feel like
going for the old Islander that I see.
Well, that's one of their guys, right? It's important.
No, it is. I know. It's just you picked on the former Islander.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. He's the first person who came to mind, and he's one of the guys who's making sure that they win that puck, to get the right footing when they are 5-on-5, when everyone's on the ice, right? So, and to me, I think that's one of the big things, and then of course, defensively, I'm not going to sit here and say I know that much about them defensively. I'm just going to look at the roster real quick so I can get a better idea. But, I think you got to win 5-on-5 straight hockey. You got to win defensive battles and you got to win faceoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And the more you can do those 2 things, the more likely, we know they can score. We know Marner can put points on the board. You know what I mean? There's no question there about it. We know Holmberg can score. We know they have a lot of guys that can score, right? We know that. But are they controlling the tempo? Are they stopping? A lot of shots are going to happen in hockey, especially when you get to the playoffs. Are they stopping those shots? Okay, so there's a person taking a shot, and then there's an actual shot on goal, right? The defense can affect those shots on goal, right? So some of those shots might get off, but they may never get near the goalie, right? And so depending on how they control that and how they control faceoffs, and from what you're saying, they've done better recently. It's tough to say. I mean, I think the East is wide open right now. Mm-hmm. Like the Canes, they're playing good, but they're not great. Florida has its up and down nights. I feel like the Rangers are falling out of the picture. I mean, I feel like they could definitely win the whole East at this point, but it just, it depends. Like, I think 4 of the top 5 teams in hockey are in the West.
Yeah. And it's how it's usually been for the longest time.
Yeah, that's a fact. And so, I mean, honestly, I thought the West was going to win the Stanley Cup last year.
So, Toronto right now on power plays. Where are they? I gotta look at this list because they are 18th in power plays right now.
Could definitely be better. I mean, right? Like, you can't be a top 5 team and be 18th in power plays. You need to be in the top 10, period. Yo, Colorado just lost to Chicago.
So for the final, and it's just because we like these New York teams because we have a New York Discord. And I'll ask one thing after that. But are the Devils a contender at 25-10?
Listen, they're
right behind, sitting right behind the Capitals right now.
Here's why I'd say they're a contender.
And they're the second best power play team in the league right now.
And so that's what, I was just looking at that. Okay, so they're really good on the power play. They've got 7 players in double-digit goal scoring. Okay, you know what I mean? So they've got 2 major things down right there. Markstrom's played great in goal for them this season. He's 20-8. So I'm getting the hiccups. I don't know why, but I think they're definitely a contender. And they're one of those teams. Again, here's what's interesting. I got the hiccups. Here's what's interesting. It's a series, right? So it's not like the NHL. So it's tough to say. I think
they play the Rangers tomorrow night. Just say
they're going to beat the Rangers. The Rangers, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say, man. The Rangers have just really fallen off in a bad way. I can't believe
the only thing I was going to add to this because we have the New York Discord. Should I be adding the Devils, the Sabres, and the Bills because we keep it New York?
I don't see why not, right?
Because Buffalo is in New York. So
Buffalo's in Canada. No, but legitimately, I don't see why not, we got to show love to everybody out there.
Yes. I was just saying, does it keep in because it is Buffalo, it is New York. Do we add them in? Because New Jersey would be added in, and then the Sabres be added in, and the Bills be added in.
Why not? Why not? Especially this time of year, you want people active talking about. The Bills may be playing football till February, so it only makes sense. I'd say
get the Mafia in there.
Listen. I'll leave you guys with this. The Bills Mafia is probably the greatest fandom in all of sports. You guys rock. No question about that. I'm just going to put that out there. All right. So, listen, it's that time of night. It's actually later than that time of night, but that's all good. So just wanted to thank everybody for joining us. And guys, we may have a new sponsor coming on board pretty soon here. So I'll let you guys know a little bit more about that once we make that official. But I wanted to say thank you to everybody for joining us in Vinny's Corner tonight. I don't know what happened to my partner, Cove. He just got blacked out. But love you guys. Thank you for joining us, and tune in next week. Also, check out my page on X at Vin, Quezada, Quesada 1. And I'll put the Discord up there if you guys want to jump in and join our Discord. There's Cove. All right, guys.
Completely.
Have a good night.
I hear you now. Jesus. It's good. I just can't hear you. I don't know why.